I'm going to bring it to him, and we're going to first start with Peter Rice, who's going to have a little talk and he's going to say a little something about Robert Kirby, who sadly, as what most of you might know, passed away and did a lot of arrangements for Nick Drake. So he's definitely a very important aspect in his music as well, and therefore we'd like to have this first bit to just stand still by his just thinking about what he's done and his work and everything. So I'll give the microphone to Peter Rice.
Well, it was very sad when Robert Kirby died last year, and we knew we owed him such a lot for doing all the arrangements for at least the first two Nick Drake albums. But I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about my involvement with Robert and with Nick. By way of tribute to Robert, and then I'll play you a couple of CD clips. I was at Gonville Keys College in Cambridge, and it was in 1968 that one of the new core exhibitions there, Robert Kirby, came along to see me, because at the time I was the president of the University Tape Recording Society, and Robert was one of the members of a group called Fab Cab, which was a six-piece a cappella band, and run by Marcus Bicknell. And they wanted to make an LP. You want it louder?
Yes.
Where's the sound engineer when you need it? Ask them for feedback. So they wanted this CD made. Sorry, it wasn't a CD, it was an LP at the time. And they needed a demo, and they went to the Tape Recording Society, and it got passed on to me because I was in the same college. And I met with Robert in one of the rooms there. I took a huge tape recorder up there and a couple of microphones, and recorded a set of songs that this group Fab Cab wanted to put down on there as an example as their demo. They didn't record under the name of Fab Cab. They invented the name of Gentle Power of Song for their LP, which was an even greater flop than Nick's. So it disappeared without trace. But it was an interesting mix of things. Now, one of the things that they did was take well-known songs of the day and arrange them. And of course, Robert was a budding arranger, and he did a number of arrangements, both for multi-part vocal and also for vocal plus instruments. And this is where he learned his craft as an arranger. He came to me after this recording and saying he had a friend who he was doing some arrangements for, string arrangements, and who wanted to make a CD, LP, and needed a demonstration tape, but also they were going to put on a concert of Robert's arrangements. And would I record this? So that was, this friend of course was Nick Drake, and I recorded the concert that he and Robert put on in the Bateman Room in King's College, and this is well documented in Trevor Dan's book. There were 5 original numbers that Nick did there, and I still have that tape, a copy of it. The thing about Robert's arrangements is that they were not of the mould of the day. They were quite innovative, and in fact, he didn't change his style greatly in the 30 odd years since then that he was doing arrangements. So he developed a signature sound, partly through this interaction with Nick. And I like to think of Robert and Nick being symbiotic, that they worked off one another, that Nick's first two LPs wouldn't have been what they are without Robert's arrangements. And similarly, Robert wouldn't have had later recognition as an arranger without the work he'd done for Nick Drake. So he was the first to acknowledge that this work he did with Nick was the basis of his success as an arranger. But as with all things, it didn't pay immediately. He thought he could make a career out of music. In fact, like Nick, he left university after his second year and tried to make a living and didn't. He joined the company, eventually it was called Ipsos. It was a opinion poll company, and he rose to be a director of this. And then in about 5 years ago, the popularity of Nick and also the recognition that how much of this was due to Robert's arrangements meant that a lot of people were asking him for arrangements, and so he could get sufficient work to be full-time then, and he left Ipsos and became a full-time arranger, producer, conductor, and there've been several concerts put on by Joe Boyd, the producer, in the series Way to Blue. And the first three, I think it was, were with Robert conducting, and we heard about one before in the first half. And incidentally, there's going to be another batch of those concerts in October of this year, going around the country. And so, if you can, try and get to one, because they're really good. Now, what I want to do is just play a couple of clips showing Robert's style. And the first one is about the last thing he ever did, and we're very fortunate that it was with, in fact, our James Edge, who on his latest CD. So with James's permission, play part of a track of Robert's arrangements for string quartet from that.
Dreams were
Well, that's an example of Robert's style in 2010.